Hello, this video shows an overview of the Carnell Kitchen Reno at 2260 Oxley. So we're going to begin on the main kitchen area, and you're looking at a rendering of what we expect the kitchen to look like when it's done. So now I'm going to pan out here and show you in reality what we've got going on here. You can see first of all the cabinets have been removed. The stove was originally in this area here, and you can see that the stove was an electric stove. There's the 240 right there. I did open up that outlet cover and I could feel wire back there. I'm assuming that that wire runs up the wall because there used to be a microwave that hung here, and you can see that the wire in the wall looks like it goes down. And I did test this outlet is live, and so what we do need though is that outlet put back because we need to plug in the refrigerator down there, and then of course remove that outlet right there, that plug receptacle, so that we can push the fridge all the way back into this area. Sticking with appliances, we're going to go to this wall here. You'll see the gas range will now be on this wall, just to the right of center. And so we're going to need power for that. And then above the gas stove, we're going to need power for the hood vent. And just for a frame of reference again, there you see it right there on the rendering. So there's plenty of power throughout the wall though. The light switches are here. I'm not sure if there's power behind here. Yep, there it is. So you can see that we've got plenty of countertop outlets here and available. They just have to be reworked for the stove, the fridge, and the hood vent. And then this wall, as far as construction goes, you can see the note that says trim soffit. And just for cosmetic purposes, we are looking at taking that drop down on the soffit there and cutting it flush with the drop down here from the tray ceiling, and that will allow us to put our get some extended cabinets up there. So we just want to evaluate how worth it would be to do that, or do we just stick with standard size cabinets and call it a day. And then of course this little piece right there would have to get demoed. As far as flooring goes, we're going to put a luxury vinyl plank and do a up and over on this oak floor, because there's actually pine over there and oak over here. And after deliberating and meeting with flooring people, just seems to be the most economical thing to do for the long term. On this wall here, we'll show you the rendering. You're looking at that section right there. Basically, it features a butcher block countertop with a prep sink and then a cabinet there to contain the garbage disposal. And we did that really because there's only 17.5 inches here from the wall till where the door frame starts. We do plan on taking the door frame out and rebuilding it, but there's still very narrow space, and we want to avoid this like weird jagged look here that was existing. So that's the plan there, which means for electrical we'll need a disposal outlet down there. Now there is already a disposal outlet, so I don't think that's going to be complicated. And then again, for power, show you that we've got a outlet there, the switch here. Now you might be wondering why there's this weird 45-degree angled wall. That's because there's a sewer trunk from the upstairs coming through that. So originally this obviously was a separate room that was opened up, and they had to then box out that sewer trunk, so that kind of stays. In which case, for the cabinet maker, we'll be looking to make an extension piece over here so that the cabinets connect and flow well. All right, we're moving here to the main wall where we'll talk shop. So you can see here, we're looking at this L, and there's a farm sink to the right of it, a dishwasher. So this is like an L island, or peninsula really, not an island. And then you can see I've sketched here basically what the concept is. I will also attach a rendering from the cabinet maker. It looks really snazzy, but that kind of shows you. I'm going to pan back here and talk about the basic construction for just a moment. You can see that we obviously have a door frame right there. And of course, ideally, we would have just taken out the whole wall and had it all open. But after looking at the cove plaster ceilings that would have to be duplicated and mended in each room, we decided not to go through with the added expense and labor. We are looking to kind of be efficient with this reno. So we have decided to keep the door frame, and we'll trim it out so it looks like it was built with the house. But basically, you can see here we've already demoed the trim, but this will stay, and so we'll end up tucking a laminated 2x8 beam up in that cavity there. I don't know if you can kind of see it, but we'll cut these studs, pull them out, put a 2x8 beam in there with some new jack studs on each side, and square all that away, which will basically create a window. And then the countertop will float halfway into this kitchen here, and then the other half will extend with bar stools on the other side. You can kind of see there's a little bar stool, the little wrap around there inside the dining room. So opening that up. So before we go into the dining room, I want to show you the wall that we have demoed now. We really only demoed the plaster on this wall because when we pulled the cabinets off the wall, the plaster came with. Just to give you a bit of history, we don't know when the water damage started, but in this corner here where you see the bare wood, there was some significant water leaking and water damage that we discovered that was coming into the home. Hence, you can see a lot of the wood was affected. It looks like we had some carpenter ants or termites at some point, most likely carpenter ants. We don't see any evidence of that currently, so we will still spray and everything up there, but it looks like that's old. We have knocked down all the wood. It seems pretty firm and solid. There's a couple places where it has been chewed up, but really nothing that will require replacement. And so the plan is to insulate underneath the windowsills, and then also put some fiberglass bat insulation in these cavities. We'll use some of the reclaimed lath that we pulled off, kind of tack it in place, and then drywall over it to meet flush with the plaster. So this still is the original plaster wall. You can see right there the two layers of plaster, the dark gray back layer and then the white front layer. Okay, so that's kind of on the construction end. We're going to rebuild the casing. We pulled off all the mahogany casing, which really matched this one over here. It was painted over several times. So we're going to do our best to strip that down and plane it and so forth, and really do a nice job on that. Electrical. So we need a garbage disposal here. You see that yellow wire right there was the old disposal. So that's already wired directly to the panel on its own breaker. We discovered this outlet right here. I do not know if it's live yet or not, but that was buried behind the cabinetry. And we also discovered, now moving to the corner, this outlet here was buried behind the cabinetry, but it's live. It is working. And that's notable because we're wondering, should we put a new outlet up here? So, this area here would really be kind of like this area in here. So I could just imagine if we had a crock pot or something on the, that we wanted to snake over here and put on the countertop or charging station, if we could do that. And to me, that's the outlet we would use. Or we already have power on this wall. The dishwasher will go here. And this outlet here was existing, and this was the main outlet on this wall that we used. And unfortunately, in my novice demo experience, I learned a valuable lesson to not use a Sawzall right away before you know what's behind here, because as you can see, I cut right through it, and the outlet no longer works, so that's just going to have to be repaired. You can see right there the knob and tube. Again, I just cut right through it. So after that, was very careful not to do that again. These wires dangling here are just, they look like thermostat wires or communications wires. I don't know what that is. It looks like some sort of maybe old transformer. But the knob and tube here on each side is wired into that, so I just left that on the wall Other than that, I don't see anything. There's some more kind of telecommunications wires. I know there was a bell system in this house in every room, kind of like a butler system where you could ring and it would send an alarm. So that kind of completes things for this room. You can kind of see what's going on in the kitchen. There's no picture to look at here. I'm just going to call it the butler service. So this is the staircase actually that leads downstairs. So if we were to remove that drywall section right there, then you'd be walking downstairs. And this occurred before we purchased the home, but you can see the plywood decking was kind of built up off the first 2 or 3 treads to create a flush space, and the refrigerator was tucked in there. Well, we are going to use it as a butler's service, and so the rough idea here is it's going to be cabinets on the bottom with a countertop, and then a cupboard for glasses and so forth on the top. Just wondering if we could put an outlet there, because there actually, and I can't show you, but there is power behind that wall. That would be another video in the basement. So moving here into the dining room, you're just looking now at the other side of the wall here that we're going to be taking out. There you see it. And then we'll just cosmetically, put drywall again on this last wall here. The final part of the project is what we're calling the cafe station. It's over here, and I'm going to back up as best I can so you can see. It's basically a closet. And this was an old coat closet, and this coat closet was how we discovered the water damage that was in this corner. And there was a lot of rot that had taken place for a while, because a lot of this wood literally just crumbled off the wall. You can still see we have the nails for the furring strips that used to be in here that we'll have to take out. But we like to keep the brick just kind of like as a cool feature. But if it doesn't really work out or seem practical, we're not married or anchored to it. At some point, you can see a window was here and was walled over at some point. And as far as power goes, we'll show you. There's a outlet up there that I don't know, again, if that works or not. But we'll find out. But the nice thing about that outlet is we're going to need it, and it's interesting. It's just about 24 inches off the ground where it comes in through that stud there. But the coffee station, if you can imagine, there's going to be a countertop with a bar fridge and a cabinet base underneath. And we're on this countertop, we're going to put our coffee maker and our espresso machine, and we're going to have some shelves here. And that's going to be the coffee station. And that's how we're going to make use of this space. Below we're also going to have a microwave, just a little small microwave for like popping popcorn and things like that. So we're calling this a cafe station. So this obviously will have to get furred out here, at least on this corner, so that we really can just finish it off nice with some drywall. And then, of course, put a new fixture here. We are wondering about, we're planning to use this track light here, because there is a separate fixture for light right above here. And so we'll have to address, putting the insulation back over here. I don't think there's any soffit vents in this. In fact, I know there's not. And I'm not sure where this electrical right here goes to. I think it goes to the outlets in the rest of the room. But there's a plywood floor. And in the corner there, you can't really see it well, but there's going to be a little bit of need of a repair piece put in there. And then we're planning to cover it with this plank flooring here, which we already have. And that's the coffee station. So again, let me know what your thoughts are, whether it's construction, plumbing, gas, or electrical. And we're going to go ahead and get started and make this happen. I should point out there is a gas stub right there. So obviously the stove used to be in this corner. Makes sense. And we're going to swing that around to supply the stove in this location. All right, if you have any thoughts or questions, let me know. We're excited. Thanks for watching.